Hey guys, Dazzler Magic here, and you will not believe this. I know this may shock you to your core, but WOTC's caught up in another controversy. Now, this isn't entirely their fault, and people are just saying, well, this is a shame, and I'm going to blame the other party involved, and WOTC's basically the victim. Now, this may also shock you. I have a differing opinion, and by opinion, I mean fact. So, out of nowhere, somebody named Lorenzo Lanfranconi sent an X on Xer. They sent a tweet on Twitter to @wizards_magic, and I will warn you, their strong point is art, not language. Just want to let you know one of you artists stole one of my paintings to paste it as it is the background of their illustration. I don't even want to know the reason behind this. It's so stupid. That deserve a prize, lol. I think actually English just isn't their first language, but coming across strong. Love the sentiment, love the phrasing. And I love the artwork, but apparently so did whoever made Wayfarer's Bauble. This is for sure the third time that I know somebody stole art. I think maybe fourth, because I think I covered like 2 tracing things in a video, because they were really similar. Or maybe the same hired artist stole art twice. I don't remember what it was. I know one was like Ugin or Bolus or whatever, and somebody like traced over fan art and made like the exact same head, and then both were like equally inaccurate or something, and so they got caught, and they denied it, then they admitted it. So this is not the first time this has happened. So they found a shockingly good-looking, well-made painting and decided, I'll just flip it, they won't catch me. I do wonder. I mean, I wonder how famous Lorenzo is. I wonder how many people saw this image, because like with the internet, everybody's an artist. There's artists everywhere. There's millions of them across the globe. They can just jump on some software with no paint or canvas or money or whatever and just draw something amazing with their skills. And so it seems like every artist is now a truly amazing artist, because that's the only ones that stick around, because they got to compete on a global scale, let alone somebody who does it for business, which I assume is what Lorenzo does, because my God, does that look exceptionally good. So either the original artist noticed it, or one of the fans, or somebody from D&D just happened to say that looks familiar. I don't know how it happened, but it led back, which means that Lorenzo's painting was popular enough. Which means stealing it was stupid. I mean, if you had some guy with a marker draw a caricature of you at the state fair, and then you scanned that in and used it as like a basis for a magic card, the chances of getting caught are practically zero, but still that's underhanded, stupid, careless, and a complete and utter time bomb. And if you do it, you should feel terrible. Now, I used to be an exceptional artist. The short version is then I got extremely sick, and then somehow I was really bad at art. It's also right around the time where your brain rewires itself to have different priorities, if you know what I mean. But I don't know. One of the two of them, I lost all art abilities. I was actually in like talented, gifted programs or whatever in elementary school, because they're like, wow, what an amazing artist. And then they sat me down in front of a computer and realized, screw the art. But these days, even when I was a teenager, I can't draw, dude. I can't draw anything. I've got pure technical, like geometric symmetry skills to like lay out a bake sale letter in Photoshop or something. But way back then, I actually did get a commission because somebody wanted to do illustrations for a children's book, and they wanted a child to draw it so that it looked like a child drew it. Also, they only offered me like a bill because that was their budget. And I was like, I could do that. Yeah, because it's like, it doesn't have to look photorealistic. I was good, but I wasn't that good. God, I hate even telling this story. I'm thoroughly embarrassed by this, but it's just, it's an example, and it's going to make sense. So it needed to be like 11 pages. I started hand drawing it, and after literally just like the first couple depictions of it was a frog, I was like, well, do I do big eyes? Do I do exaggerated? I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. And eventually I just started putting it off. They kept reminding me like, oh, I have to do this. I'm getting further behind. The deadline's coming. Then they extended it. I'm like, I don't even have a page done. Okay, let's go digital. Because at that point I was way better at like digital stuff, because I was starting to learn Adobe Illustrator. And I'm like, I could just do this whole thing in vector. And then I said, well, I need the exact dimensions. He's like, well, I don't have them because the layout was going to be the layout artist. And I knew that. I kind of knew printing back then. We had done like book layouts and stuff, believe it or not, in like 3rd and 4th grade. Anything tech, I was way into it. Shout out to my homies in Eau Claris. Let's go. Hypercard, man, what's up? And so I just use it as a crutch to not do it, because I let the pressure get to me. I'm like, this is going to be seen by people. I'm getting paid for this. If I was drawing, just sat down and thought, I'm going to draw like a fun thing with a frog, I'd have it done in an hour. And I just wouldn't care, but I let the pressure get to me. I'm like, this is the big times. This is my first contract. This could be huge. And I let the pressure get to me. And back then, that was my personality. Now, nothing shakes me. I will get through anything, stay calm. I just worked on it. Okay, I knew that was a weakness, and like anything that bothered me, exposure therapy was the cure, and just power through it. That's just, I see adversity and I'm like, let's go. Let's punch adversity in the face and move on, because I'm going to keep moving forward. But back then, completely different. So eventually, I didn't get it done. I just let this. He said, "Well, you gonna do it or not?" And I'm like, "I just don't think I can. I'm stumbling, and for various reasons, I just can't do it." And he was pissed, but he was trying to take advantage of child labor to get something done. He wanted to be famous. He ended up being a really terrible person, actually. The person who hired me. So I don't feel that bad for him. Screw him. But he was doing it purely for money. He let me know that. And him and my parents got into it. And but still, just in a vacuum, I am so disappointed in myself. I should have just done it and just worked through it, let the doubt go aside, and then if I handed to him and he said it's not good enough, then at least I tried, So I don't know anything about the artist, and for privacy reasons, I'm not going to say even their name. I mean, if you want to go pick up a copy of Wayfarer's Bauble, they're on the bottom of it. If this was their first commission, interesting, but a couple people in other games, other, books, other stuff like that, and for sure one in Magic the Gathering was caught just doing it professionally. They were like, their whole career was just stealing other people's work. And they called it inspiration. I call it tracing and completely copying the entire vibe of it and just drawing a slightly different version of it. Trust me, not very gray area, at all. So if you make a pattern out of it, that's right up there with MTG pros cheating for their whole career. Like Fabrizio. The other Fabrizio. 2 Fabrizios got caught cheating in the pro leagues. Antares, the smug jackass who said he's the best player in the world or whatever, and really was just cheating. Consistently for his whole career. I have zero sympathy for that. So I don't know the full details. Nobody really has the full details about any of this. But if they're just like, you know what, I've got a front thing, I'm good at art, but I just cannot nail this background. I'm not happy with any of it. This is going to WOTC. I'll never get a job again. This will ruin my entire professional art career, and I'll make no money if I get this wrong. And they just totally collapsed and said, you know what, I was going to use this tree or these stairs as a rough thing. Let's just throw it in. Reverse it, throw it in, it looks good, I won't get caught. Obscure artist, maybe, nobody will catch me. I don't know, I'm out of options, let's just go. So you got the lifetime frauds who just make a pattern of it because it makes money and they wait until they get caught. It's kind of like people who speed on the way to work every single day and eventually get a ticket and they're like, yeah, this is stupid and I'm an idiot. I hate those people and they get what's coming to them. But then, there have been MTG cheaters that everybody pretty much agrees they cheated one time and had a clean career besides that. And it was just this impulse thing. And they just, the back of their head, they knew everybody else was cheating. And there's all these reasons where it's all this pressure. And they're like, well, I, had to take a credit card to buy the entry and the airfare and all this. And I can't drop out of the whatever league to get the free this and that from WOTC. And the pressure made them make a bad one-time decision. That could have been what led to this. Now, which one do I think it is? Because I've heard stories outside of even WOTC properties of stuff like this happening. It happens way too often. Art's really competitive. People are either massive procrastinators. They've got some kind of chemical or psychological addiction. They put it off. The stress gets to them. Any kind of thing, they reach their breaking point, or they're just lazy, entitled, greedy people. Or anywhere in between. I've heard every type of story. What I will say is the artist behind this one drew 15 different artworks for WOTC, almost all of which are pretty recently. It's going to come down to, did they steal all of them? It's just that simple. If this is the only one, maybe they had trouble drawing that kind of landscape and just turned this one in and made a mistake. I don't know. I'm not saying that it's okay. It's just less bad than a career person who's just it's all about the money, I don't care. Well, we did have a statement from the original artist on Twitter, and it has since been deleted. I guess original artist, the artist who stole this and put it on a card, so not the original artist. What we do still have is Lorenzo saying, update, the artist wrote to me and to WOTC, I'll don't do nothing more than sharing this image and to me. I think this is translated, like I said. If this was the only case this happened, it's okay. No, it's not. It's less bad, but it's, okay. Just a weird situation and a stupid mistake. But see, they said the artist wrote to them, and if this was the only case that it's happened, then it's okay. Very forgiving fellow, that Lorenzo. They got to make Lorenzo into a planeswalker. Like, for real. I mean, like, take a look at what Lorenzo Lafranconi looks like. Like, he could be a legendary tier Planeswalker. I mean, come on. He's just got Planeswalker vibes. I'm just saying. At least hire him to do some art for MTG because, my God, does this stuff look good. So the artist never said, this is the only time I did it, or they did and Lorenzo doesn't believe it. And it is saying, like, if this is true. So, fragments of the apology, I'm having trouble finding the whole thing, but people are not feeling it. Basically, I don't know if this is like direct quote or like paraphrase, but it's sometimes I just steal things. It's part of my creative process. 100% on me. What? So I don't know if they're like making fun of it or what. I wish I had the full statement, but it's been deleted. Dude's gone into hiding. You know what? I'm going to dig it up. If I look hard enough, I'll find it. I didn't do it in a cursory investigation for the notes for this article, but I guarantee I can find it if I look hard enough. But first, let's read WOTC's statement on it. It just says, statement on Wayfarer's Bauble. And they always do this. It's like one paragraph, super minimal, like not really brushing under the rug, but just be like, here's the bare minimum. Let's get no drama. Let's get no angles. Let's not, go all high horse or not, just cold statement. And for once, I agree with that styling. So we recently became aware of claims that, David Saunderer's artwork on the card Wayfarer's Bauble used art created by another artist without that artist's permission. Such misuse of art is expressly prohibited by artist guidelines and does not reflect the values of Wizards of the Coast. As such, we will be suspending any future work with David Saunderer until further notice. And that's what they did the last couple. They're just like, we're never hiring you again, totally cut off. And honestly, with that reputation, your career's dead. Like, they didn't throw that in there as like, run them over and then back the bus up, But, like, that is what's going to happen, so why bother saying it? All right, full statement from David. This actually wasn't as hard to find as I thought. I was just in a hurry. I'm filming a 7-day video. It's very time sensitive. It's from my other channel. You'll see it. I think y'all be kind of shocked that I actually did this. I actually pulled it off. But anyway, he says, accountability is a thing we as a studio stand for, and I screwed up badly. Oh, it's a whole studio. Oh, well, you're shut down. There goes all your employees or whatever. It might be just, I'm the CEO, and it's one person. Who knows? I don't even care to look into it. The guy's a dick. In regard to one of my latest Magic cards, Wayfarer's Bauble, in my process of painting, I collect references, especially, here we go. Okay. Especially for things I feel uncertain about, and sometimes I put those positioned on the canvas and paint over them. I read that in a weird way, but you get it. I sometimes use this as a way to make my illustrations unique by overpainting and altering the reference until it isn't possible to see the original piece anymore. Let me just add, that is actually really common, but also, he did not do that. This is not a case of that. He just straight up painted the thing and was like, there's nothing to change. It's already perfect. What would I change? He's a copycat. He's a jackass. Occasionally I do this with poses, positions. See, everybody does this, or elements in the background. Quite often I use my own photographs. Yeah. Everything he's saying is correct. It's just, that's not what he did. So now he's trying to cover it up and downplay it. Wow, what a terrible person. I guarantee this isn't the first time he did this. But I also use art from colleagues as references. That's more than a reference. In this case, I have unfortunately not done a good job of turning it into a uniquely mine painting. Could use the hyphen there, but like I said, these people know painting, not English. I could show how I have painted over things, but in the end, it does not matter. Yeah, that will make it better, my dude. The matter of the fact is that it looks too close to someone's original piece of art. Yeah, some of the details people pointed out, like this didn't need to be there. This exact little thing could have been anything else. You painted it so stupidly perfect. It might as well just have been photoshopped with just a 180 flip and done. I'm not even sure that's not what he did, to be honest. So it is 100% on me, and I made a very bad call on this one, really, because that's a different tone than everything you just wrote, and this is at the bottom of the statement. Maybe I take it back. He is pretty good at the English language when it comes to lying and exaggerating and gaslighting. So I came to a point where I wasn't looking at the reference anymore and was just trying to make sure all the colors and lighting matched. Oh, so you forgot what the original looked like and thought it was your work after you traced over it. Okay. I am reaching out to the artist, Lorenzo Lafranconi, in order to see what I can do to make this right. I have also informed the persons who commissioned the piece. Yeah, those persons have like lawyers, and yeah, you're in deep crap. There's nothing to sue over. I'm just saying, like, they ain't gonna fall for this. They're not that stupid. Okay, so the full original statement from Lorenzo was, this is bad, as I was clear from the beginning and was officially with WOTC privately. To me, this is just a mistake and nothing more. No idea why people think they need to be this bad online. Because he's a liar and a thief and a gaslighting piece of crap doing this for money. That's why. I'm the damaged party, I think he means, and I'm okay. So why you're so angry about this? You're going a little hard to like take the high road. Maybe this is just his personality, but I'd be a little angrier. Speaking of that, the only person to ever try to false DMCA my channel has now lost almost every online account. If I had something to do with it, I would have said it right away. I'd be proud of it. You guys know what I used to do in high school. I used to hunt down bad people online for the fun of it, just because I didn't like them. And I made really bad, like go to jail bad people. You know what I mean? It was fun. That was a sport for me to take out my angry teen aggression. I guess me and Lorenzo just have slightly different personalities. Like my response would have been like, if you're not good enough, get the hell out of the space, okay? You're going to get caught every time. You're a dumbass, and I hope your career fails. Go work at Starbucks, you piece of human garbage. Like, it would have been that, and then, like, that would be the polite intro, and then it would go off the deep end from there. When I've been wronged, I am going to drag that person through hell to just give, one, revenge, and two, the chilling effect that if you do this to me again, or anybody does this to anybody else again, this is what could happen. Just hold them up as an example, like, don't do this, don't be this person, don't make this mistake, or this will be you, and it's only going to get worse. And I think that benefits society as a whole. People call it petty and vengeful and whatever. It's a line. We publicly shame and drag people through the mud and then throw them in jail and then show like kids, hey, don't do this or this could be you. Don't make this mistake. Don't do drugs. Don't be a thief. Don't do this. Don't do this. Don't do this. As a deterrent. Jail is just one big deterrent. So where you draw the line between revenge and deterrence and chilling effects, probably not the same place I draw it, but I get results. If you still disagree with me, who's been attacking my channel lately? Who's been sending me threats lately? Like I said, results. So I don't agree with this response ever. I mean, if you want to meet the pettiest, cattiest people you'll ever meet, it's usually artists. So I guess, good on Lorenzo for taking the high road, but I don't agree with it at all. If you're like, no, it's chill, it's just one little mistake. I mean, I feel like Lorenzo's going to have a slightly different opinion, as he said in a follow-up statement, that if it's found out that this was a pattern, and based on this guy's just massive amount of assholitude, there is no way in hell this is the only time he did it. I think his opinion's going to change on this. So he finishes with, if you're going, wrong thing was done that doesn't allow you to nothing more than showing you disagree in a polite way, as I'm correcting this on the fly. If you're going beyond this, you're wrong. Please be kind and stop abusing the artist's social medias, which, by the way, they've now basically deleted. You can choose how to show your point of view, and it looks like you're choosing the wrong one. I can do act and say and react and call out people online however the hell I want, actually, thanks. Now you're kind of being a little bit of a douchebag, and like you said, you're the harmed party. You're the quote-unquote damaged party. Well, grow a spine. Art's competitive. What the hell? Bury this guy. Like, what's wrong with you? So I know everybody's going to mention it in the comments. I didn't want to cover this because I just don't care, and I'm kind of in the middle on this. I hate to say it. Somebody got caught using AI generation, AI polishing, AI finishing, AI small components of a larger thing. It was kind of gray area, but they did it for the Dungeons & Dragons sourcebook. Because if you've got the most powerful tool to use as references and like amalgamated from 50 different things, which by definition does not make it a copyright violation, although sometimes the AI tools spit out something that's just verbatim identical to something else if it doesn't have enough samples, just saying. It's just doing what a human does, I'm just saying. But in my opinion, they were very borderline on how much they fixed it up. It's kind of hard to tell which was the base and all that. So I'm like, well, why cover this? I'm just down the middle. Like, what am I, Tim Pool? But if somebody just has AI spit out something and sells it for $2,000 and then goes, home and plays video games, and they have absolutely no art talent, okay, that I have a problem with, because WOTC could have done that themselves. That's basically just fraud. So because of this, and because really it's just threatened artists and wannabe artists and all that, where they're like, oh no, even more people are taking my job. It's usually people who like aren't good enough to be artists and just realized it. Or they are good enough and they're getting drowned out by foreigners that'll do it for cheaper because it's just how economies of scale work or whatever. They're the ones running around getting all angry online about this stuff. Like AI generation, well now that's another step back for me. Well, get over it, okay? The art jobs were basically dead as soon as computers came out. This is just like going even further. But if you don't know how the AI works and the AI doesn't know how itself works and it can't say these are my reference photos, hey human, check if this is close enough, you're walking a dangerous line. I don't think the tech's there yet. But then again, I've already done this. There's AI in about 10 of my thumbnails, but not the whole thing. Individual objects and textures are all I've ever stuck to. Honestly, what the hell's the difference between that and finding a royalty-free Creative Commons license thing and either modifying enough to not even be the same license or, non-attribution? I stick to it. And then it's just one little thing in the background. It's like one sword, one thing, whatever. Like usually I draw it myself, but if AI can do a better job at making a grass texture and I don't want to pay $10 to download a grass texture that somebody else probably AI generated, guess what I'm going to do? It's like, I get it. You're supposed to be the top of the top, best of the best. You got this crazy commission from D&D and it's like huge, big time. You should draw it all from scratch. And if you can't get out of the way and let somebody better do it, I get it. That's how they've been doing it since the 80s. But it's just so complicated. And we know that in 10 years, the best quote-unquote artists are going to be the ones who can feed in the best prompts and mix stuff together, Photoshop stuff together, mix a bunch of parts together, and just do touch-up jobs. And just like fix this finger, make this arm longer. It's just going to be professional Photoshoppers. It is what it is. So it's going to be a whole lot of complaining between now and then. Like I said, I see both sides of it, but the people saying, oh, AI looked at 1,000 of my photos and then generated something that's kind of a mix of all of them. Yeah, that's what humans do. If I write a book, it's going to be a mix of everything I've ever read in my life. If I paint a painting, it's going to be a mix of every painting and character and art that I've ever seen in my entire life. I'm going to be subconsciously mixing them together whether I want to or not. Like if I paint someone with glowing red eyes, guess what? I've probably seen 50 people, 100 people, 1,000 people with glowing red eyes. I didn't come up with that. Yeah, I'm going to draw it myself and people disagree that that's good enough, but if you think about it, what the hell's the difference? But what people shouldn't do is just steal people's art, trace over it, and try to pass it off as their own and reverse it. If I were to base it off just my memory on what happened last time, I think WOTC will take the commission, demand it back from the artist, and whether they give it or not, they'll take the usually, 1 to 3,000, I think is the number I heard, and give it to the artist that had their art stolen. Just be like, here, let us license it because it's obviously yours. They'll attempt to hire that artist in the future if they're interested, and they'll never work with the person again. So I believe that's what's happened every other time. Correct me if I'm wrong there might be a counterexample or something older than when I've been following it. And that's that, but as Magic makes less and less money because they're nosediving due to their recent decisions and power creep and just other assorted stuff that drove the community away, their only choice is going to be to use heavily discounted AI stuff for just all dirt cheap foreign artists and who are now obviously using AI. The only thing doing it right now is the copyright stuff, but the big AI people who are trying to be like the AI generating kings and like hold a monopoly, they want to be like the Google or the Amazon of AI within the next 20 years. They're just saying, hey, if you get sued, we're the one who sampled stuff. We're confident that it sampled enough things that it's going to be an amalgamation that is legally defined as fair use or not, or like dissimilar enough to not be copyright infringing of the original works. And the tiny percentage that we're wrong will cover you. We'll cover your legal expenses. We'll try to win in court. We'll defend ourselves, but you won't pay a penny out of pocket. And a bunch of the big ones, all like almost in the same week, decided that that's going to be their policy because they want to be big. They don't want a reason for people to not use their tool. And they want to shine as like the safe one to use for business, the zero risk one. Now, let me just point out, because, if it's legal, I got to comment on it. A warranty for a product you buy is only as good as the company's ability and willingness to keep existing and honor it. This is pretty much the same thing. Unless they're retaining a right to the work and you're licensing it, which is not how that works, then their agreement to cover your legal fees is good right up until they disappear, go bankrupt, or just decide they're not going to do it. What are you going to do, sue them? Gonna have 2 lawsuits at once? Good luck. But the other massive problem with all of this is that a bunch of courts have said if it's AI generated, you didn't make it, so you can't copyright it. Now, that is a big problem. Now, where do you draw the line between, okay, AI generated it, and then we hired a human to draw like a sword in their hand? Well, now a human did it. That's where it gets real complicated. But if you put out a big like art book for a thing, and then the whole art book can be ripped off because none of it's technically copyrighted, it's public domain because it was spontaneously created for all intents and purposes. Oh boy. but enough lobbying money and international push and just money, billions of dollars worth of AI money. I have a feeling the courts are suddenly going to change their minds in the next year or two, saying, no, you put in a bunch of prompts and it's just a different way of drawing an image, so it is copyrightable by the person who put in the prompts. And they have a little bit of a point, but I mean, it all stems back to the monkey that took a selfie, and they determined that since the monkey took it, it can't be copyrighted, and it was like a 3-year court case. PETA got involved for some reason. It was the biggest circus. It was hilarious. But they determined that if a human didn't take the photo, a monkey did, then a monkey can't hold the copyright, so it's public domain. So go look it up. The photo's everywhere. Everybody stole it. It was an amazingly, shockingly good monkey selfie too. Perfect focus, perfect framing, perfect smile. It is, you'll think it's fake. You'll think it's AI generated. Who knows what reality is anymore, but no, we didn't have the tech for that back then. But yeah, I think they even cited that in the lawsuit or in the judge's statement or, whatever. So that's what's going on in the MTG art world. Might as well talk about that because who cares how the new set's affecting Standard? Nobody plays it. Some darn good cards for Commander, though, and if it wasn't for the bombs ruining Limited, which what else is new, it would be pretty draftable, but unfortunately not on Arena. So I will end with go download X-Mage. It's fully working, and I'm trying to get a draft together with literally anybody who will show up. So if you want to jump on a live stream and draft against me, go for it. I'll see you guys next time.